Me this morning, and hope you're doing well. And today's kind of a really interesting one, and it's again looking at this transition between these first set of siblings in the Bible, and they are the siblings of Cain and Abel. And it's a fascinating section because we really see this as we really can hold this as a way of picturing sort of how life works for us and the things that are born in us and how things relate, and really seeing it as a very rich description of how humanity evolves and how we continue to grow. What's our creation story? So the part today, that's it's really interesting to me. Cain is the firstborn. We think of that as picturing sort of the intellect, the faith, the mental construct, and that oftentimes is the first thing we get. Just that initial just understanding. And then along comes this much greater love, and the greater love starts to offer what it has to offer to the game, and that's what we pick up on today. So let me read that for you here. This is what love is offering. Think of that symbolically. And Abel too brought forward some of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat, and Jehovah looked on Abel and on his offering. Beautiful line there. So here's this part. First off, here's Cain, and this is what Cain is saying Cain offers. And here's Abel, and this is what Abel says that part offers, and this part offering something of knowledge, this part offering something of love. And it's a beautiful dichotomy there, right? Because we have to get it in the right order. We have to be able to understand how these things relate. So I was thinking how to communicate around this. And I think it's kind of this difference. I think Cain kind of that offering is like, look what grew. And over here, Abel's offering is, look what was born. Look what grew, look what was born. And none of that's bad, right? Like, none of that's bad. But it's obviously that when we look at what was born, that's probably going to have more of an impact on our lives. And an example would be, folks, imagine somebody coming to you with a beautiful bushel full of incredible homegrown tomatoes. Big fan of homegrown tomatoes right here. Come to you, look at what grew, look at what grew, look how beautiful this is. And then the next person comes in with a puppy. Look what was just born. Well, it's obvious which one's kind of going to stir our heart more, and I think that's just humanity. That's not prescriptive. It's just descriptive. It's just how we work. And the beautiful part is, of course, that what gets born actually depends on what grows. It's not that they're two. You can't treat it as a polarity, because it's not. What is born depends on what is grown. And all of us this morning probably had breakfast from something that was grown, and that, folks, I think is interesting and fascinating to me. So what does this mean kind of in life? Well, I want to share with you a beautiful story. Working my way through Rachel Held Evans's book, Searching for Sunday. Beautiful book. I hope you can join the book club come July. And within this book, there's this beautiful line where she, as a teenager, she's in this youth group that really kind of becomes very formative for her faith through the years, even though she leaves church for an extended period of time. It sort of had planted some roots there for her. And she said the youth group pastor really taught her a beautiful lesson in life. There was this boy who was sitting in the back row, and he was sort of the badass, the badass of the class, the guy sitting in the back, the kid in the back of the bus, however you want to put it, sort of thinking of the Breakfast Club, the smarmy kid. And it comes time for a big event, and he volunteers for it, and she has all her hand wringing over that, because this guy did not pass any of the quote unquote tests. And her youth pastor said something just beautiful, just beautiful, just beautiful, just beautiful. He said, my job is not to change people. It's just to love people. Oh, that's so good. My job is not to change people. My job is to love people. Now, of course, the beautiful part of that, folks, if you learn to really love people, and no doubt you are in your life, when we really learn to love people, that will change them, actually. And that will make their lives better. That will help them reach closer to God. All kinds of good stuff starts to happen there. And then Rachel ends with this line that was very fun. She said, the older I get, the I wasn't so sure whether he was talking about that boy or whether he was talking about me. I like that line a lot, But yeah, it just yeah, my job is not to really change people. My job is just to love people, and we can sort of rest in that, and that's a beautiful thing. So friends, just think about that in your life. What is growing in your life is really significant, really matters, really makes a difference in the world. And so does what is born, what is being born in your life. And the trick is for both of those, like, how do we get those two to relate in the right way together? And most importantly, like, how do we offer those as gifts to God? That's what this is about. Offering these as gifts to God, both what is growing in our lives and what is being born in our lives, being able to offer those up. And what does it mean to offer it to God? It just means putting it out there into service. Like, how do we use this to serve humanity? That's simple. And yeah, and don't forget, it's not about changing people, it's about loving them. That's simple. And we'll be taking a look. The story's going to take a little bit of a hard turn here over the next couple of days, but we want to stay with those basic pillars as we move forward. So I hope that makes sense, my friends. Again, love people. Don't worry about changing people today. And with that, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little prayer, a little blessing. Then we'll say hi to folks on social media. So with that, friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, bring you home. Amen. All right, friends. Again, a big plug. Um, yes, a big plug to make sure that if you have any interest at all, that you are warmly invited to take part in our small group that will launch on Wednesday, July 6th. It's an online small group, so wherever you are joining us across the country or across the globe, you are more than welcome to join us for that. It will be a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful event. Linda, good morning to you, my friend, and I hope you're doing well. Hopefully you got all those links for that group yesterday. Patricia, great to see you joining us as well, and I hope you're doing well. Kim, how true is that? It is. As soon as she said it, I thought, oh man, that is so true. And Rachel Evans she is incredibly funny. And her little bit, we talked about the tattle phone yesterday, and her sort of righteous self-indignation about how could he pick this kid And yet his goal was to love them, not to change them, which is beautiful. Susan, great to have you joining us here this morning. Glad you have a calm morning out there. We're in the midst of a storm out here. Marcus, good morning to you, buddy, with a little baby deer in the backyard. That's good stuff. Good morning, Melissa writes. Really deep. Love this. Love people, don't change people. Yeah, and you know, it's like easy. I think it's really easy to think that somehow that's a cop out, but it's really not. I mean, the people who we feel truly love us are actually most often the most effective agents of change in our life, which I find really interesting. Um, Linda writes, love changes all things. We can only change ourselves. That's so true. Mary writes, good morning, friends. Does that growing sometimes include that which must first die off in order to make space for growth? I think it does, Mary. You know, there was an interesting one. I was talking to a friend, and this friend kind of their orientation was around like what needs to die off for stuff to grow. And she used this analogy. She said, you know, to grow, to really have a beautiful garden, you need somebody who sees the flowers and you need somebody who sees the weeds. And that's kind of interesting, right? That there needs to be a both and there, right? Where somebody can see the potential, but then someone else is like, yeah, and it's not going to grow unless we pull some of this stuff out. Again, we don't want to lapse into craziness over that. Wheat and tares is a little parable about that. But there is some beauty in that, about being clear about what does need to what does need to go. Susan, can we join the small if we're not official? Absolutely. Absolutely. And we don't have, by the way, Susan writes, can we join the book small group if we are not official members of New Church Live? Absolutely. Absolutely. We have lots of people who do that. And we don't even have members. There's something for you, Susan. What we have is we have something called partners. Because I don't want there to be any idea like it's a club that you belong to. I want people to really feel that this is something that we're doing together. Linda writes, maybe not DAF, but definitely a change needs to take place. I feel surrender is involved. Very, very true. And yes, Linda, the links, I put them on commented to your Facebook post yesterday. All right, friends. Well, wishing you all the very best, and God bless. Have a great day thinking about loving people, not changing people, and find a little freedom and relief in that. Take care. Bye-bye.